Welcome to Claim Your Power
Yay.
Hour. And tonight we have Stacy, Thai lead coach Stacy, and Matt's supposed to be on from Hong Kong with us. He's not in yet. He may be having internet issues, but as soon as he pops in, I'll bring him on. Debbie is in Hawaii. So
There's Matt.
Magical Matt.
Magic.
Hi, Magical Matt.
Hello, how are you?
Really have
Good.
part of your head.
I know. Well,
What time is it in Hong Kong?
it's I'm so lost. It's 8 a.m. in Hong Kong.
Got
8
it.
a.m. in Hong Kong.
You're having us so good morning.
11 in Sydney. Yeah, I was trying to be modest, but you can probably see I'm sitting in a cupboard. Let me see if I can turn this off.
Yeah, StreamYard doesn't want to have any like fancy backgrounds. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, the virtual background thing is not a StreamYard thing. That's a Zoom thing. If I'm out of it or slurring, I did not show up drunk. I just got back from the dentist. So I've gone to the dentist 3 Thursdays in a row now. First Thursday was 2 crowns and 4 fillings. Second Thursday was a surgical implant where they put a big screw up in my skull that has to heal for 3 months, and then they pop a tooth in there. And then today was another crown, and I was going to have another filling replaced, but she decided to file my front teeth down and smooth them out instead.
Do you like them?
So yeah, my mouth is it's coming out of, it's numb. It's coming out of numbness right now. So if I'm like, blah, 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 that's why.
So
I'm
you're drunk,
renovating my
basically.
mouth. What's that?
So you're drunk, basically.
Actually, no, I'm not like stoned or anything. It's just that numbness feeling. That's why I would be slurring a little bit, because I don't have control over my mouth. But anyway, I know that some of you are watching live, so say hello. Right now, we're exclusively in Patreon. This video might be live at some time in the future on YouTube, though, so we still have to behave a little bit. Just
okay.
I know. It's just... All right, let's not behave. Let's let whatever happens, happens. And we can talk about any damn thing you want to talk about. And we'll answer questions from the audience. I am not channeling tonight. No way in hell am I channeling tonight.
You might not come back after
Sorry.
that, right?
I'm not down my
Yeah,
spiral. I'm really not. But I'm not up for channeling tonight. Maybe Sunday. Maybe on Sunday Soul Food we'll bring the stream in. The stream has been off for a little bit. I haven't channeled in a while.
That would be
publicly. Good. Yeah. So whoever's watching, say hello, so we know that you're out there. We see you on.
Hi.
And if you have questions for us, you have 3 Taya masters here.
Ooh, dun, dun,
3 masters of the Taya practice. And I have to say, I'm going to start off by telling you a little story.
Story time.
So for those of you in the United States, outside the United States, I don't know how well known she is, but I watched this woman from the South that cooks. And she's a little controversial. But I adore her because she reminds me of all the Southern women I grew up around. And her name is Paula Deen. If you've heard of Paula Deen. And she is on YouTube now, and she has a cooking channel on YouTube. I love it because it's just raw and real. If she messes something up, it's on the show. It's not cut out. It's not all polished and perfect. But I just love watching her. And she has this house that she lives in Savannah, Georgia, on a river. And it's just nice. And I told Michael last night, I said, I want to be Paula Deen. I want to live in that beautiful house and putz around all day and not really, just be left alone by everyone and have everyone like get everything for me. He said, you're living that right now. And then it dawned on me. I said, oh my God, I've totally manifested exactly what I wanted in life. You know, living here in the new house, everything remodeled. We have people that do everything for me, more or less, and I just kind of enjoy my day. Yeah. How crazy to sit there and wish for something that I already have. It was really funny. He says, you already live that life. What are you talking about? I said, yeah, you're right.
I had the same realization today as well, that I've got this lifestyle where my husband makes decent money. We're not wanting for anything. We have a huge house. And instead of constricting myself to 2 rooms, we have a 5-bedroom house. I decided I'm expanding. I took over 3 of the rooms. One's in my office, one's my workout meditation place, and the other one's my bedroom, which is separate from the master bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Because we're still in the 90s here in the LA basin, and it's too hot to go out in the she shed and play. So I'm like, I'm taking over all of the house. Why not? And yes, my
So
job.
the house is the she shed now.
My house is a she shed. My jobs
Love
are
it.
to make decent meals, good meals, take care of my physical well-being, and to provide inspiration and love and light.
I could
There
do
you
that.
go.
I'm stuck in a cupboard.
Sorry.
And meanwhile, Matt's in a shoebox, but you're in Hong Kong. That's kind of cool. Or is it still
Oh
cool?
yeah, I love it here. I love it here. And look,
Yeah.
it's each to their own dream, and mine is travel and freedom. And anytime I can get on a plane, I will. And so that's that's the extra bedroom in my house is the plane ticket once a month to go somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
but it's great. It's lovely to be up here, and like you guys, you kind of, once you do this practice continuously, if you stick to your practice, your manifestations happen as a byproduct, kind of by accident. And once you stop wanting them so much, everything just kind of falls into place. Just if you stick to your practice,
Yeah, it's a good point. And I didn't start with that story to brag about my life or anything like that, because nobody wants to hear that. But I'm just trying to point out that life is just really good. Not perfect, but the practice just brings you to a place where life is really good, and all of the craziness that's going on in the world just has no impact. It's just not in my bubble of reality. And I think if you want to include it in your bubble of reality, you can, but you don't have to. That's the Matrix telling us that we have to participate in all that stuff. And it's okay to just be happy and not live in fear and not need the world to change to make ourselves happy, or not need to manifest it. And I think Matt brought up a really good point. The whole law of attraction movement is really about learning to manifest things because you think those things are going to bring you joy. And it's everywhere.
100%.
I see it on Instagram still. I go on Instagram and there's this law of attraction quote, and more money's coming, and you're going to get this much money, and you've got this new thing coming, and and people, thousands of people, yes, I affirm, yes, I want the money to come into my life, and they, it just goes and goes and goes and goes. And what about happiness? What about loving yourself? What about enjoying every day?
I thought you were having a stroke there for a second, Stacey.
No, I was just thinking, like, why? I think we should rename it. It's not even the law of attraction; it's the law of need. Like this, these are all posts about people who need things. They need these things in their lives. They think that this magic phrase, this affirmation, is going to just like poof, that's going to show up. But as we know very well with our practice, that happiness is an inside job. Joy is an inside job. You have to find it within yourself first before you can project it into your outside world. There's no other way to do it. No shortcut.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and again,
guys.
Everyone's having their experience. We're not sliding into judgment of how other people are operating, but at the same time, we have discovered the secret sauce to happiness in life. The thing that everyone wants. We didn't invent it. We know how to get there, though. We
Come
have
join
the
us in the
tools
cupboard. Here's an interesting point, though. Is the secret to the joy of life the tired practice, or is it the consistent application of the practice? Right? Because
it's the practice, because you got to practice the practice to get the vibrational results. The vibrational results are getting higher and higher and higher on your spiral to where you're joyful for the sake of being joyful. You don't need anything anymore. And then the stuff starts finally showing up because you're not chasing it away with the vibration of need.
Yeah. And I think everyone who's gone through boot camp, all the people who are in Patreon and who are seeing success in their life, we've all got one thing in common, and that's we keep doing the practice.
Yeah.
I know I'm banging on about this, but it's so important to be consistent.
No.
that's the secret of happiness, is the consistent application of this groundbreaking lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, and understanding that if you do fall off the wagon and you do spin out, that's okay. That's built into the practice, is the spin out component, where you fall off the wagon. You're not, you catch yourself, maybe weeks into, oh yeah, I'm not really on it like I was. And because you're noticing it, because you're seeing the new evidence of the lowered vibration start to come back. Oh yeah, I'm getting angry more. I'm doubting. The Claude voice is chiming in again. The thought train is pulling up. All those things that we talk about, they come back. All those things are vibrational. You don't eradicate them. We don't eradicate anything. We detune. We take its power away, and it fades, and it sort of goes away, and it may be dormant out there, but it's part of the matrix. So if we kind of slip back into the matrix, that old dormant stuff is going to come back, and it's okay. It's okay if it does. Whatever your experience is just that. But you could get right back into the practice and get right back up to where you want to be, which is amazing.
Yeah. It's and I think the more you do this practice, the more you are aware of just how important vibration is.
Yeah, vibration is everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's everything. It creates everything. Everything is a frequency creation of consciousness. And then the physical that we're experiencing is just the byproduct of that. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. I was just talking about that yesterday to someone, how they were, they needed this and they needed that. And I always guide people back to the beginning, which is the basic pillars. Appreciation. Where's your appreciation? Intention. Where is your intention? Are you doing that daily? Are you just skating through life expecting things to happen, but you're not actively setting intention? Just keep going back to those basics. Forgiveness. Are you still harboring bad, ill feelings towards yourself, others, and the politics of the world? I mean, hello. That's going to up your vibe right there.
Yeah.
Towards yourself is a huge one too. I've been working a lot on worthiness, and it's just it's so powerful. Like I had yesterday in today's meditation, I was focusing a lot on worthiness, and just by the end of the day, there was a little like, how was that day? I was like,
yeah.
Amazing. It's like, well, guess what you did differently? It's like,
yeah, and how amazing it shows up so quickly, right?
Oh yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's, where David is and I am as well. And all of us, actually, no matter where we are, I deserve to not have to work super hard at a job that sucks and that I don't like, with people that annoy me.
Yeah.
I deserve to enjoy my latter years in a relaxed fashion, enjoying every single moment of the day, because Lord, we know how precious that is and how quickly it can be taken away. So why wouldn't I allow myself that opportunity to fully embody my worth?
Yeah. And allow the universe to take care of you.
I know. Isn't it nice?
David, yeah. Because it wants to, right?
Yes.
It wants to.
Yeah.
David, you've got that beautiful phrase, set the intention to be pampered by the universe. I love that.
Yeah. Allow the universe to pamper me. Well, the thing is that that's what it does. The universe only delivers well-being, and the only function of ego is to block enough of it to give us this expanded experience that includes what we call contrast. That's it. So the well-being is all coming from what we call the universe or source or God, or however we refer to that. That's always being broadcast to us and delivered to us. But when we block it out, then we can manifest other things. And the other things are only there to present an opportunity to create new from. That's why we come to physical. That's why we have polarity. But there's nothing but well-being coming from the energetic realm. And I love that. And I know that.
Yeah. And it just having that, knowing and believing that and trusting that just sets you up for a different experience in your day-to-day. And I think it's it's crazy how simple it is, but how difficult it is to get your head around it. I think people don't understand just how brainwashed we are. Not in a bad way, but just that's the accepted norms, and you're brainwashed into those norms because no one ever questions them.
Yeah.
So do good at school, find an opposite sex partner, have 2 kids, get a mortgage, paint the picket fence, play bingo when you're 80. That's the default brainwashing, right?
Yeah, that's the Matrix.
Yeah,
or a version of that.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sure for many people, that's a beautiful experience.
Well, and that's the interesting thing. It's like, we can identify the Matrix all we want. We can point out the upsides of Taya practice and being consistent and getting the things we want. But really, it always boils down to, are you happy in your current existence? Do you look in the mirror and at the end of the day and go, hey, you rock? Or do you say nasty things to yourself? What's your reflection back of how you're feeling?
Pardon? Yeah. Sometimes I get people to pay me. Sometimes people pay me to say nasty things to myself. But other than that,
You're unique in that way, my dear.
Talking about your side gig there.
It's my vibe.
Mixed company. And I see more of you joining us now live. So say hello. Let us know who you are.
Why Matt's in a cabinet.
Ask questions. If there's any question you have about Taya or our practice or what's going on in Mastery these days.
I can't see the question, but Stacey, I think you're absolutely right. That internal monologue sets your frequency on the radio, on the spiritual, on the universal radio. And the people you're talking to yesterday, I need this, I need that, I need this. Okay, need it.
Yeah, need is always met with yes, because everything goes from the universe. Everything, the universe only answers yes.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing ever works out for me. Everything's hard. Okay, nothing ever works out for you. Everything's hard. I'm so lucky.
One of the biggest things that I got, one of my massive ahas from the stream, it was one of those. I've gotten many things from them slowly over the years, but one of the biggest things that clicked for me years ago was this idea, because most of us were raised in some sort of religion with this idea of a benevolent but judgmental being, and kind of a needy being too, like worship me, what is all that? So anyway, but this benevolent being, and that's why people can't reconcile why do bad things happen to good people or to anyone. How can that be? Why does this loving, benevolent God who wants nothing but good things for us allow some people to suffer and allow others to thrive? Why is that? And when the stream came through loud and clear with, we are not judging your experience the way you judge your experience. In fact, we're not judging it at all. It's just an experience. The only reason you think any of it is bad is because you have all decided to label some things as bad, and you teach that, and you all absorb that. And now when I hear people who are recounting like childhood suffering and trauma and things like that, I know it's not my place to jump in and help them from their experience, nor are they probably ready for any of that. But I just, it's so plain to me to see that the reason you're suffering in that is because you've been told that you have to suffer in it, that you're a victim, that it wasn't your fault, that somebody did something horrible to you and it was the worst thing ever and it ruined your life. And now that's your reality. But why is it your reality? Just because you believe it is. Anything that happens to us, we can look upon an appreciation as Source does. Anything. Anything. We get sick, we lose a limb, we get cancer, we lose a partner, all of those things that nobody has as a preference. The reason that we create the suffering, though, is because for some reason we believe that it should not be. But it is the experience that is manifested. So if it's the experience that is manifested and we look at it with nothing but appreciation, we have a whole different journey. Whole different journey that the Matrix is telling us we're not allowed to have. Oh, those crazy Taya people, they appreciate everything. That's insane. That's a cult.
Yeah.
Cult over there where they're appreciating everything. That's just crazy. You need to suffer. You need to judge. You need to stay stuck in the past. You need to keep recounting the sins of the past over and over and over again and keeping it alive.
Yeah. And
I hear so much of that. All the atrocities and the things that were wrong, and this group of people is bad and wrong and evil, and look what they did, and all of that stuff. All of that does is keeps that energy alive for more of it to occur.
Yeah, yeah. And to be just to be clear, we're not saying those things didn't happen, or those things weren't impactful, or those things weren't intense. We're just saying the way you remember them dictates the way your life is.
Mm-hmm.
The experience is the experience. The suffering, the ongoing suffering is in the judgment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
And that's the magic. That's the hard thing to unlock, because sometimes people get so their identity is bound in that intense experience.
Yeah.
Positive or negative, right? Positive or negative. It's just the
That's an excellent point, Matt.
Yeah.
I think that so many of us in the past or even currently identify so strongly with that aspect of being a victim. Something was done to me. It's so easy to take the back seat. Oh, I wasn't in control. I'm never in control. It's all fate. It's all destiny. It's all the stars and my crystals.
Why does life keep doing this to me? Why does the one I love in spiritual circles, the universe is teaching me a lesson. You're manifesting your own lesson. The universe isn't deciding, oh, Matt needs to suffer a little more because Matt needs to learn a lesson in this lifetime.
Go back in the cabinet, Matt.
No, the suffering is automatic because we're in this matrix that teaches us to judge things.
Right.
Yes. Stop wearing your wife's clothes.
Yeah, you didn't tell her, right? That's why we caught you in the closet tonight. You were playing.
Right. But I love that our practice, when we apply it, actually gives us power to change our perception, the way we feel about ourselves from past experience, the leveling up of how I love and appreciate every aspect of who I am and all the shit that I've been through in my life that I put myself through to get myself to where I am today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Boy, I'm really masterful in creating a lot of crap in order to expand and grow.
Yeah.
And here I am in front of you being an expert about it. Woo-hoo, right?
So fancy.
So fancy.
Well, once you start teaching this to other people, and watching them transform in the practice, it's an extremely satisfying thing to do.
It is.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to keep my mouth shut sometimes.
And I think the other thing you start to realize when you get into more of this work, that's something that the church, organized religion typically in Western culture is very against, is just how powerful emotions are. Emotions are the fuel of the universe. But we get taught as a little kid, don't scream, don't shout, don't be extreme, keep it in a box, keep it in a box, keep it in a box, where actually all those intense experiences you have, positive or negative, are the ones that really kind of move your life forward dramatically, quickly in a time continuum. And that's why staying up your spiral is so important. Because or down your spiral if you want, but it's those intense edges where things happen really quickly, right? Oh no, I'm gonna lose my job. Guess what's gonna happen? You
get what you focus on. You get what you focus on, and your belief systems have a lot to do with where your focus goes. So that's why we work on the broader belief system, so we can then focus more readily where we want to focus. But I think you said something that was really interesting too, that whole you've got to be up your spiral. And we talk about that. And of course, the early days of the practice was all about, get up your spiral, get up your spiral, get up your spiral. And then as we started sharing it and expanding the practice, we came to realize, well, the stream has said all along, you're not going to go up your spiral and stay up there. This is about raising your default vibration. So you're up higher and higher and higher, more and more and more. And that starts to really reveal itself in your life. But the key to being up your spiral more is knowing how to navigate the down the spiral time. because you get down there, you're a different being.
Yeah.
You don't have the same skills and tools and mindset that you do when you're up. You just don't. You're more in ego. You're less in source. You're more apt to hop on the thought train. You may not even have the energy. There are times sometimes when I'm down that I'm just like, I know I'm going to go back up. I'm not even going to put any effort into trying to go back up. I'm down. It's okay. And that's okay to do that. It's okay to do that. It's not about having, oh my God, I got to go meditate right now. I can't be DTS. I'm never allowed to be down my spiral. I'm miscreating right now. You're really spiraling down if you start doing things like that. It really is just sort of like, I'm a little DTS today. I'm not where I thought I was vibrationally. And really just managing it and noticing what shows up. I had to drive on the freeway yesterday, and now that we live out here, I drive on the freeway a lot more frequently if I want to go anywhere. And it was like toward the end of the day, running errands, going from place to place to place. I was a little tired, and coming home, I noticed this car just change lanes right in front of me, which never happens. I always set that. I have such great driving juju because I always set that intention for safe and stress-free commute. Right?
Yeah, I always find a park.
What's that?
I always find a park right outside the front door.
Yeah, it's cool when you do that. You just know what's going to happen, and it shows up. But when this car cut over in front of me, didn't even look to see if I was there. It was and I honked my horn, and I started to get. I'm like, oh, I just caught myself. I'm like, well, of course I created that. My energy was winding down. The car, moved over in front of me, and I'm honking at them. I don't ever do that. Who cares? And so I picked it back up just like that because I know that if I don't do that, there's going to be something else and something else and something else, and it can build momentum really, really quick. So that's how we manage our vibration throughout the day. You just kind of catch yourself. And then immediately I know how to look toward appreciation. And that's an instantaneous relief.
Yeah.
And I know how boring it is to, my dad has his birthday this week. And of course, we don't have a whole lot in common, nothing. And we go right into the weather. Because what are she going to talk about to an 82-year-old man that is, not into any of this stuff at all, and I'm not into any of his sports stuff at all, and we just don't have anything to talk about. So, poop the weather. But you know what? The weather is a very handy thing to find appreciation for, because I love all weather. I love storms. I love rain. I love sunshine, and I have tons of sunshine out here. I love weather and nature and the changing of the seasons. I'm discovering living in the desert that I'm missing that a little bit. So, boom, always weather. Oh, it's windy. Oh, it's sunny. Oh, it's rainy. I love all of it. So I can go right into appreciation of the weather. It's a very handy thing for all of us because it impacts all of us. We're all, even if we're indoors, weather is right out there to look at. Nature is right out there to look at.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely. And that's, if you are down your spiral or stressed about something, just going outside and taking a couple of deep breaths and, touching the grass, it's like, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. And that anxiety thing, I don't really suffer from anxiety at all, but I know people that do. And that anxiety is sort of the fear of fear. And you have complete control to change that by understanding that when you're fearing something in a lower vibration and you're feeling the physical effect of it, and that feels like anxiety. And when you understand that, wait a minute, when you understand the spiral, I'm just down the spiral. That's all this is. I'm just down the spiral. It's okay to be down the spiral. I have weathered, and you kind of start thinking back to things that you were anxious about that never happened or were not nearly as bad, or they were bad for a minute and then you solved it. This is what life is. You're going to have things that come through that are lower vibrational manifestations that challenge you, and learning to meet them in joy is something that anyone can do. Anyone can learn to meet these things in joy and not be stressed out, it's the detuning of the fear and the judgment.
Yeah.
There's no boogeyman coming for you.
You are the boogeyman.
Yeah. I'm the guy in the closet.
Yeah. Seriously. It's so interesting. I want to go back to what Matt was saying about how religion, no emotion, keep it bottled up. That's kind of matrix thinking. Yet marketing, of any product, what do? The first thing they do is tap into emotion. That
100%.
there should be a significant indicator for anybody who practices any type of spiritual law of attraction or need or any other thing like that. These people are able to separate you from your hard-earned dollars by triggering your emotion.
Yeah.
So why don't we pay more attention to our emotions?
Yeah.
We notice them when they fly out of our mouth unaware, right? When we're honking. I usually just laugh at myself after I honk at somebody on the highway. I'm like they give a crap what I'm doing, right? Yeah. It's like, all right, I'll slow down, or I'll pay more attention because I have a tendency to meditate when I drive. Like,
keep the eyes open. It's helpful to keep the eyes open.
Yeah, but I
pretty soon the car will just drive itself. You towards
yeah, exactly. Well, those ones scare me too, though. But it's
already here. So
learn how to manipulate your own thinking so you can master the power of your emotions.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not just be willy-nilly fire hose.
You do control it. You control all of it.
Yeah. All of it.
I remember someone saying once, a guy I really looked up to, and he was having an interview, and he said, yes, I was being my emotions in that moment instead of having them.
Lovely.
You know, it's like, you can get angry and control it, or you can be angry and be out of control.
Yeah.
You know, have your emotions, don't be them.
That's a really good, I like that. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. I mean, don't say it to somebody who is in a rage, but later on.
I was flipping through something today, and I saw this interview with Shaquille O'Neal, and he was looking at a car, and he didn't want to spend the money on a car. He was looking at a Rolls Royce, and those are $500,000 plus, and he didn't want to spend that much money on a car, even though he's a very wealthy man. And the salesman. And he's telling the story, and it's a clip, so it might be out of context. I don't know. But the salesman said to him, oh, well, if you can't afford it, we understand. And he says, and I showed him, I bought 3. And I thought, and he was really angry about the guy challenging his wealth, and he bought 3 cars to prove him wrong. And I just thought, okay, your ego is bigger than your brain in that moment, when the salesman has just tricked you into buying 3 cars just to prove that you're rich. It's just so funny how powerful the ego is.
Oh, and people who are, I mean, obviously Shaq's very successful and very wealthy, but people who are really wealthy never feel that way. It's like, is this a good investment or not? Is it where I want to allocate my funds or not? And that's the decision. They're very kind of emotionless about where they put their resources.
Yeah. Well, I've worked around a couple of very, very wealthy people, and you would never know they had money from the way they dressed.
100%.
I've gone out into public with them, and they, it looks like I'm walking around with, potentially homeless person sometimes. And, they don't show off, no Gucci,
no trimmings,
none of that stuff going on at all. But, really just a lot of wealth, just really low key. They ask how much things cost.
Very careful.
They're very different people, but they were both like that. It was interesting.
Yeah. So but it's fun, but it's true. And often with people who come into wealth very quickly, they want to show that they've got, it's a status thing more than an actually, hang on, I've got an opportunity, I've got a resource here I can deploy for the long term.
That was something that somebody posted on their Facebook page that I belong to. If you got $1 million, what's the first thing you would buy? And everybody's like, oh, this and that, and the other thing. And one guy at the end said, I would not buy anything. I invest it. $1 million doesn't go as far as it used to.
Yeah.
Well, that's a smart viewpoint. Yeah.
In Southern California, you could buy a 1-bedroom condo and rent it out.
Yes.
Or in Sydney, maybe less than that, right?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
What about Hong Kong? How is Hong Kong compared to Sydney?
Hong Kong's the most expensive real estate in the world, or one of.
Yeah,
like out of this world, because it's very small and very high density living, and it's fantastically located geographically. You're in the middle. Well, you're in the middle of. It's like 8 hours to LA, 8 hours to Europe, 8 hours to Sydney, 2 hours to Shanghai and Beijing, and so it's kind of at a crossroads. But yeah, no, Hong Kong's like outrageously expensive, more expensive than New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it was up there. I didn't know it was that far up there. I knew it was
Yeah, it's crazy.
really expensive to live there.
It's
Tokyo
crazy.
also, right?
Yeah, all the big cities,
Yeah.
So, but it's fun. And look, I mean, I'm joking about being in the cupboard, but we're in a small apartment here, but that's all you need because everyone spends time outdoors.
Yeah.
Well,
when I lived in San Francisco, I didn't live I lived
Yeah.
in 750 square feet, which was
kind
huge.
of apartment living. You're
That's
out
huge
and
in
about.
San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're out doing stuff all the time, or you're okay with the density because of all the convenience that's right outside your door.
Yeah, that's the trade-off, right?
They have really nice public parks and nature spaces, or is it just concrete?
You'd be surprised. It's jungle.
Really?
Yeah, like we went to the beach yesterday, and the apex predator in Hong Kong is the water buffalo. Right? Nothing. Traffic stops. Right? We had a buffalo just decide to wander across the road. Everyone stops. And in the afternoon when it gets cooler, they come to the beach and they sleep on the beach, right? Because if you were top of the food chain, where would you sleep every night?
Oh, I remember you sent a video of the buffalo on the beach, just kind of walking down the beach. And kind of just got out of its way.
There was some tourists who had some kids there, and they had like food up on a table, like right down the middle of the beach. Buffalo just walked right up, ate the food, knocked the table off, walked on. It's not, like the things. The thing's like 2,500 pounds, right? Like it has it does whatever it wants whenever.
And they don't do anything to try to control that in any way there.
No, they're protected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's not a huge population of them, but again, they're kind of slow-moving creatures,
Not really malicious. Just want to get to the beach, have a good meal. It's like the rest of us.
Yeah. When it's hot, they're in the jungle because they're hiding, and when it's cool, they come down on the beach and sleep.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, yeah, there's a lot of jungle around
here. Life.
Sorry?
They're manifesting their best lives for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I love it.
So as far as the Taya world goes, I'm just really excited that the book is done. I'm excited to get that marketed next year and get it out to the public next year. I feel like this practice is so fleshed out and complete now. We've taught it to so many people. I see the results. We have a reunion coming up so those of you that graduated from Taya Boot Camp, you will have an invite to our Taya Academy reunion that we're doing Saturday. And if you haven't gotten that, let us know, because you should have gotten a few emails about that. But I went on Facebook and personally invited a lot of the people that graduated. They're still on Facebook. And it was so cool to hear back from them. A lot of them aren't coming because it's Saturday and they're, it's sent, I'm sorry, I'm not showing up. But it always followed with, but this is what I'm doing now. I'm going on a ski vacation. I just bought a new house. I'm in a great new relationship. My life is so amazing as a result of this. It was like brought tears to my eyes to read those responses from people that I haven't seen in a year or heard from in a year. People that have graduated 2, 3, 4 years ago that are still practicing. They're still getting the results. It's really, amazing. Really, really satisfying to hear something like that.
And that's the magic of this system. It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's so simple. There's no religious holidays. There's no ceremonies. There's no tithing plate that goes around. There's no commandments. Just 4 simple things. Close your eyes and breathe, basically, is all you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And knowing to me that the tools that we teach that kind of keep you on track of the practice are so valuable. All the little, the spiral tools and the Claude tool and the Thought Train tool, because that's what sneaks up and gets people. The day-to-day, living your day-to-day life and just kind of slipping back into old habits because you're just doing life.
Right.
And then something that, pops up and triggers you. Remember that, this is a gift. This trigger is a gift because now something that's in my vibrational basement I'm revealing to myself something that's in my vibrational basement. What is it? Let me shine a light on that and really appreciate it to the point that it's detuned. And then you get to where you start eliminating your triggers, all of them. And then you get around people. In fact, next week I'm going to do a Taya talk about how Taya changes relationships. I think it's a very good thing.
Yeah.
This time of year, I made reservations for Thanksgiving today. We're not doing it here. I don't want to cook. We went out last year, and Christina, my friend from Florida, came and visited, and she's coming again this year. And it was so nice to just roll up to a nice restaurant and eat a lovely dinner, and not, cook and clean and cook and clean and cook and clean and all that stuff. No, my big fancy kitchen will be empty on Thanksgiving, and I'm going to go out, have a lovely dinner out, maybe bring home some leftovers, and it's going to be very happy. And then thinking about Christmas and stuff too, a lot of people dread that time of year because they're going to be around the uncle or the brother-in-law or the whomever that really triggers them and sets them off. And of course, it's a big election year in the United States, so we have all that stuff to talk about. And this set of tools just places you in this position to not need to be right, to not need to argue, to be able to appreciate everyone exactly as they are. And it can be very disarming to those people in your family that might be used to sparring with you or shutting you down or arguing or even just having a spirited debate. You can do any of that stuff that you want, but I find more joy in not needing to debate anybody about anything.
Right.
I just don't. That's all ego. Your ego needs to be right. I don't need to be right. I don't need to be right. I don't need to talk about my political candidate that I think is going to save the world. I don't think any of them are going to save the world. I don't think it needs to be saved. And I don't think it's going to be saved by somebody who is a politician, period.
Yeah.
Yep. No, the world doesn't need saving. I think that's one of those other Matrix things that,
guilt
of we've created such, ruined the world with all of our greediness and with our multiple cars and consuming all the natural resources, where we know as soon as when COVID shut down everything, dolphins thrived, wildlife started coming into the areas.
Because the abundance is flowing all the time.
So Earth
there it is. Came right back.
Yeah,
Came right back. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to do better. There's nothing wrong with this is creating technology. Look at the technology that we're creating to pollute less. Yes. And that keeps the economy going. It's expansion. I did not think in my lifetime I would see a complete move toward electric vehicles. And here we are. Is it 2023 in California, you're not going to be able to buy an internal combustion engine. I think it's as soon as that. It's like next year.
Really?
Yeah. I might be saying it might be a year or two too soon. But really right around the corner, the internal combustion engine, you are not going to be able to buy a new car with that in the state of California, period. So all of these manufacturers are making electric cars now.
That's kind of sad.
My V8 sitting in the garage, I'm like,
exactly.
I'm keeping my 450 horsepower V8. Thank you very much.
And
I filled up like 3 days ago and it's already on empty, but
Right.
I don't drive it that much. It's okay.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to be sad to not hear that.
We will solve problems. That's how we expand consciousness, is by solving problems. Is Matt frozen?
No. I had a little bit of a glitch, but I've come back. Can you guys see me?
Yeah. So we talked about Hong Kong a lot. So we're talking about pollution. Is Hong Kong really cracking down on pollution?
Hello?
Because I know in China, that's a big issue.
Yeah.
I don't think he's hearing me.
Uh-oh, I don't think he's hearing you either.
I'm way off the Taya topic. I'm just curious why we're talking about Hong Kong.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Did you hear any of that,
What
Matt?
was the question?
I said, is Hong Kong really cracking down on pollution? Or is it even a big problem there? There's probably a lot of public transportation, I would imagine.
It's different type of pollution. Public transportation is excellent. But there's lots of buses. It's very hilly. It's very hilly, and there's lots of so it can be quite polluted. Like it's a big industrial port, and there's lots of plastic and stuff like that. But little by little, it's starting to shift towards less single-use plastic and those sorts of things. But again, we're very privileged in
Come back.
He's not privileged in internet connection tonight. He's frozen. At least it's a good frozen face.
That is a good frozen face. I always hate the ones that are all.
Yeah, sometimes my face is, I'm like, oh, that's not a good frozen face. Oh, well. He's gone. We lost Matt.
Magical Matt
No.
magically disappeared.
Magical Matt. Come on, Matt. Bring back the magic.
There you are.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Everybody's watching thinking, God, I wanted spiritual guidance. Now we're talking about pollution in Hong Kong. Sorry, I go off the topic sometimes.
Oops.
We talk about anything and everything around here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Radical appreciation. That's where it's at, folks. Radical appreciation. Learning to appreciate everything, including the things the Matrix tells us we're not supposed to appreciate.
It's hard to hear you guys. Hang on.
Okay. Well, and I love what the stream says and how to clarify the radical appreciation piece, because it looks really big and scary. Radical appreciation. How do I get there? It's a complete understanding of the circumstances at hand. What's really happening here? The stream has said that multiple times. I think that's one of the things that, tripped me up a lot when I was first learning how to do the tie-up practice. What? Meet my obstacles and joy? You got to be kidding me.
What is this guy smoking?
Exactly. But now we know, after practicing for a while and after I had my aha moment, that going down your spiral is where that creative juice lies. That is where we go, oh gosh, there's a lot of plastic on the ground. Perhaps we should do something to clean this up. Oh gosh, we are really burning through the, petroleum resources extra fast. Maybe we should limit to the amount of cars that are sold and start doing electric. It's such a valuable place to be. I'm glad that we discourage folks from being afraid of being down their spiral and not just love and light and high and, oh yeah, it's all great and wonderful. Because
rainbows, unicorns.
Yes.
One of the things that really kind of put it into perspective for me was there was a channeling session and the stream was like, look, someone asked about the environment. They're like, certainly you could take better care of your planet, right? You're not treating it very well. But don't worry, it's going to be here long after you're gone.
You're not destroying the planet. You're probably destroying yourselves, but that's okay too.
Yeah, the planet's fine. It's not going anywhere. You guys are going to be a phase. Enjoy it.
Intelligent beings. I do think intelligent beings cycle through environments, and I do think intelligent beings ultimately become so intelligent that they render themselves extinct and physical, and then the whole process starts over again as something else. It's okay.
Yeah.
I do think that there were beings on this planet that created technology, not necessarily the same technology that we have today, but we want to know where the pyramids came from and all that stuff. And it's funny to me how it's always like aliens. It has to be aliens because no one was smart enough back then. Well, you're willing to believe that beings on other planets, millions of light years away, are traveling in and building stuff and leaving. But you're not willing to think that, maybe those were just more intelligent people that had technology to do that sort of thing. And then they became extinct. And then, humans kind of rose up from that. To me, that's more feasible than this intergalactic, physical travel.
Yeah.
And anything is possible. The stream says anything is possible, but a lot of things just aren't probable. And that Earth is its own vibration, its own unique environment, and that the value for our experience is here. It's Earth. This lifetime, right now, on Earth, our now moment, because everything else is just eternal consciousness, which means everything that's ever happened and everything that's ever going to happen is thought. It's intelligence. But the value is in our now moment. What are we creating right now? What are we experiencing? What are we appreciating? What are we learning from this moment? What are we learning when we go down the spiral? What's down there? What's in the vibrational basement? What's still an issue for us? What keeps reoccurring? And just paying attention to that stuff. And then getting your default so high, if you choose, that you're just here for the experience, period. I understand that hippie mindset now. I'm like an old hippie now, and I was never like that. Now it's like I understand what positive 15 and positive 20 are like, and you really don't care about anything. You're just happy. And I also realize, and the stream has talked about this lately, and I think I talked about on Taya Talk on Wednesday, that you can manifest your demise or your departure from physical, I should say, your departure from physical at the top of the spiral or the bottom. You can get so high on your spiral that you are not creating anything. You're not really dipping down in a lower vibration. You're just, you're happy being, but ultimately that might separate you. And it's okay if it does, but it might. And I've taken note over the years that the spiritual teachers don't always necessarily live to be 80, 90, 100 years old. They'll manifest cancer or something that takes them out sooner. And maybe they got themselves so high on their spiral that their work here was really done.
Bliss
The
out.
expansion was achieved.
Yeah.
We're judging that length of lifetime and mode of departure from a matrix perspective.
Yeah, more brainwashing.
Yeah. You have to live this long. You must live this long.
100 is the goal.
Yeah.
But why? I mean, that's where I go, like, why? Do I really want to live that long? And there's qualifications. I have discernment around that. If I'm, sound mind and of well body so that I can actually get up and move around. Yeah, I'd like to be around for a while. I'll go until 89, 95. But if I'm decrepit or, can't get out of my chair and I'm staring at the television, put a bullet in my head, please.
Well, that's ironically, that's harder than you think, right? Like it's your life, but you have no choice over how you end it.
Well, I have to tell you,
that's a good topic.
I think I've shared this before, but there was a time in my life where I was at peace with the idea that if I got older and I didn't have a quality of life for whatever reason, that I would just end my life myself. And I was very at peace with that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, oh, that would be so sad. It'll be so, no, if I'm done, I'll just be done. And I've had that happen in my family a couple of times, and not immediate family, but not too distant family. And everyone's really sad about it. Sometimes I don't even talk about it. And I'm just like, that was their choice. That's how they chose to end their experience. And it's okay. It really is. But now I'm sort of, as I age, I'm sort of like, I kind of want to be up for whatever experience life delivers, whatever I manifest, right?
Right.
So if it's ending up like, Michael's father, he just passed back in July, and he was an infant at the end. Mm-hmm. He was completely, being fed and completely cared for by somebody else. He could not even turn over by himself. So most people look at something like that and think, gosh, I hope I never experience that. I hope I'm dead before I get there. But he was very at peace with it, seemingly. Yeah, very at peace with it. I spent the day with him the day before he passed, and he seemed his vibe was very at peace. And then the morning of, I interacted with him, made him scrambled eggs that morning. And he was just very, very at peace. And it kind of made me think that, gosh, maybe I'm manifesting this experience to show myself that I can be here and expand in whatever experience it is, even if I'm in diapers having someone feed me at the end the way that it all started, Isn't
that like the epitome of the ultimate surrender? The surrender to being totally without ego, having someone care for you on a level where even though you're an adult, you're back at infancy.
Yeah.
And we all have that experience where you're so blissed out. Like yesterday, I spent the day at the beach. I swam in the ocean. I drove home. There was not a traffic. It was breezy. It was so easy. And I was thinking to myself and smiling inside going, you know what? If my life ended right now, I'd be totally okay. Because I was so high up my spiral.
That's what I'm talking about with that positive 20. You can stay up there and maybe you will separate.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you do.
Yeah. But it wasn't like, I get that whole peace thing. I also watched it with my father. He was critically ill, terminally ill for many years. And to have him to almost see that point where he switched his thinking from being afraid of death to, this is okay. I'm okay with this happening. I'm okay with, really embodying that experience until I'm no longer here. And again,
we have to realize too that we very often are judging someone else's experience from our own expectations.
Yeah.
And you got to witness someone sort of surrender to that and move into that experience vibrationally. And that applies to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at things, and I'll throw in the last 5 minutes, I'll throw the Holocaust out there. But we didn't experience as our current selves. None of us experienced the Holocaust.
Mm.
I don't know if there are many people left. I'm sure there's some, but there are not many people left that
Right.
actually experienced it. And unless you were there, you don't know what that experience was. I'm sure it was not a preference, and I'm sure it's not my preference or anyone else's to ever have anything like that happen again. But we look at these extreme things and we slap this, should not be label, slavery, the Holocaust, wars, all sorts of things. And we just judge it so harshly, but in our harsh judgment of it, we're giving it life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why things like that come around again and again and again for the collective, because we haven't healed it. Judging it in that should not be part is not healing.
So go to for more current day issue, school shootings.
Yeah. Those don't get solved because all we do is demonize and move on and keep in that recurring path. Yeah.
Interesting. Matt's gone way back. Come back.
It's okay. My God, he's talking about the Holocaust.
Sorry to scare you.
Well, it's an example that everybody can identify with, though, is,
Right.
It's hard to wrap your mind around appreciation of things like that.
Mm.
And that's when we have to remember that appreciation is such deep understanding that you're no longer judging it. And that's the source perspective. And it's in all of us. We have just had it pounded into our heads, the exact opposite, which is the matrix.
Right.
The stream has said all along that the energetic realm operates in reverse of humanity. And we finally started using the term the matrix to really describe what that means, because the matrix teaches us really to work against universal law. And it's okay. That's part of the contrasting environment that we're in. But recognizing it and knowing that, and then with that knowledge, working in harmony with universal law, that changes your whole life.
Mm.
That's in every piece of Taya is just about that. The 4 pillars, all the tricks and tips and tools and all the things, all of it is just about that. Nothing else. And like you said, there's no holidays, there's no statues, there's no, worship going on, there's no rules, there's no obedience. That's all human created crap.
There is a compound though.
In Italy. I think we're going to pick it.
Yeah, I don't want it to be in the now that we kind of have that. I actually manifested basically that here. Now I want it to be I want a 4-season climate.
Yeah.
Or 3-season climate. I don't need to shovel snow.
Let's throw one more really big one out there. I think that this whole idea of law of attraction, which is based loosely on, in my opinion, of the, coming into vibrational alignment with universal law, is that just another matrix?
Well, I think the matrix gets introduced to that really fast.
Cliffhanger ending.
Because consumerism is a religion, just like politics is a religion, just like anything, any belief system becomes a religion. So consumerism, that law of attraction thing, Think and Grow Rich, was where that idea got introduced in a more mainstream way.
Right.
And it sells books. It creates commerce.
100 years ago.
What's that?
Napoleon Hill, I think it was 1911.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Long time.
Yeah, I read that book in my 20s, and it really was like, I always understood.
It was also over 100 years ago.
Yeah, so none of this stuff is new. Universal law, no universal law is new. It's timeless.
Yeah.
There's no new universal laws being created. There doesn't need to be. It's a perfect system the way that it is. The expansion is an intelligence and physical creation is the expansion. That's the expansion part that we're all here for. But the whole idea of we're going to create a new universal law, or, I saw on Instagram that, there's 32 universal laws. I'm like, oh my God,
How's that work?
Sounds exhausting.
Yeah. Well, there are people, and this is their process and their belief system. It needs to be complex to have meaning for them. It needs to be highly complex. I'm exactly the opposite of that. The universe is simple, simple, simple. Understand it. It's so easy to understand. Apply that in the simplest way you can in your life. That's why I created Taya. I wanted the simplest way to systematically raise my vibration. Period.
That's what the stream says over and over. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't
make it all sexy and complex if you want, and give it all these fancy names and all this stuff. But no, it's simple.
Yeah, I want some religious holidays, please, David. Can you throw a few in around summertime?
Sure.
That. I think that's important. Universities.
We all have to take off stream day. It's stream day today.
There should be
stream days every day.
We'll have a stream pride parade.
Festival of stream.
We'll all dress up as spirals.
Streammas.
Taya.
When little baby stream.
People used to say streamers. I haven't heard streamers in a while. Oh, we're streamers. We're into the stream.
Streamers.
Matthias. That sounds cool. But Matthias. What's a Matthias?
Sounds more like a conqueror when you say it. Matthias.
I am
automatically detune fear and judgment.
Yep.
And raise our vibration in the process. Oh, you're a bunch of spiritual kooks. Okay. Okay. I'll take that. It's fine.
Yep. Label me as such.
Happy spiritual kooks. Oh, well. Well, happy spiritual kooks signing off. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your lovely comments over there. And Magical Matt, thank you for waking up early with your espresso in Hong Kong and joining us.
You're missing hair.
Pleasure.
I hope to see you soon. Now that you're back in SoCal, you got to come out, and the house is getting there. You got to come see it.
I can't wait till the pool's done. Then I'll come.
Yeah, we're about 2 weeks away from that.
Awesome.
We had it all summer, but you were off hiking, and then we destroyed it after the summer.
Yeah.
Oh, here we come.
Plenty of room, everybody. Thank you all.
Bye. Stay curious.